Hello and welcome, fellow foolish mortals, to the most foolish channel on the internet. Today I'm going to be talking about Disney projects that never were, but could have been, and a Disney project that I wish would exist. I'm actually today wearing a top from Pickle Vicks. Look at this. Oh, isn't that nice? Ain't that nice? I love that so much, and you know where you can get one? At Pickle Vicks, and use the code FOOLISHPICKLE for 10% off your order. It's definitely worth it. Pickle Vicks has such a huge collection of different Disney designs on t-shirts. She has so much that aren't even necessarily Disney, but other theme parks and old movies. So please go and check her out and use that code, like I said, Foolish Pickle. So first off, I'm just going to talk about 3 different Disney movies that were going to happen and were in production, but just never actually happened. They just never came to be, which is really sad. So this first one is Gigantic. Gigantic was going to be like the Jack and the Beanstalk story. So in this reimagining of Jack and the Beanstalk, what was going to happen is Jack would go up a beanstalk and he would befriend a giant called Imma, or Ima, I'm not sure how that would be pronounced, it's I-M-M-A. So together they band together as new friends, and then they go ahead and stop the storm giants for overtaking the whole of the human world. And it would have been a musical as well, like a Disney classic musical. It just never came out. It was even advertised as well, like those little tidbits that you have in different movies. For instance, you can see it in Zootopia, about the upcoming releases. I really wish that I had seen that. I wish that it had come out, and I hope that they do another reimagining of Jack and the Beanstalk, because I think that'd be a really cool twist, but apparently it just wasn't working out. And this next one, this other Disney cancelled movie, is called King of the Elves. And King of the Elves is about a person, a man, who actually becomes King of the Elves by being a normal dude who just helps a band of elves. It's a short story written by Philip K. Dick, and so it was going to be a twist on that short story and become a full Disney movie. And of course this goes through a full journey. He finds out a meaning in his own life by helping these elves by escaping a troll. And I think that would have been a really fun adventure. I do feel like it could have been a similar thing to like what Onward is like, that similar vibe. So this was actually going to be released in 2012, and then it got pushed to 2013, and then it got cancelled. They had problems with the story, and then they just scrapped the full thing, unfortunately. And then my last one that I feel so sad that just never existed was a film called Mort. Now Mort, I don't know if you know, but it means death. So it would have actually been a story about Death, who has an apprentice, and he trains up the apprentice. And then the apprentice's first thing was to actually bring the princess to a different afterlife, and unfortunately he falls in love with the princess. So it's quite strange that Disney would do a film based on death, apparently, but then you think about, you know how they just brutally killed off Mufasa and Bambi's mum? So I don't think it was that shocking that they could have done a film based on death. I think it would have been a really cool sort of idea, but they weren't sure. Disney wasn't sure about making Death a main Disney character. But people have said that this could have actually been a really cool, like, Tim Burton style movie, so much like Nightmare Before Christmas or something to that nature. And I think that really could have worked. I would have been down for that. I think I would have loved that movie. I think it would have been really interesting and sort of a PG route for Disney to take. There was also something about its cancellation to do with the rights, and then Disney didn't want to buy like the full package of rights for the franchise or something along those lines. I don't know, but something like that. So yes, of course, this was scrapped, but I think it would have been cool. I think it would have made a cool movie. And here are 3 different Disney movies I'm actually really glad were completely scrapped, honestly. So, for instance, the first one that I'm going to talk about is Dumbo 2. Dumbo 2 does not need to happen. Apparently it was going to continue the story of Dumbo straight off from the end part where they're on a train and Dumbo's flying with his his ears.
So like these baby animals from the circus all get lost in New York City, and each of these different baby animals represent a different part of childhood.
We just don't need Dumbo 2, so I'm happy that one was scrapped, honestly. You know what I wish was scrapped? It was all these different live action remakes that Disney are doing. Please stop. Also, another one I'm glad was scrapped was a spin-off of The Seven Dwarfs called The Seven Dwarfs. We don't need a Seven Dwarfs spin-off. And I think that as much as I don't like Snow White personally, I'm not a big fan of her, to be honest with you, but I appreciate The Seven Dwarfs, I appreciate The Evil Queen, and I appreciate that that was the first feature-length animated movie. So, as it sort of sparked off this Disney amazingness that we have and our obsessions with Disney, then I am quite happy then that The Seven Dwarfs wasn't made into another movie. We don't need that.
So on here, obviously, I can't play the sound, but you can see the sort of animation that it was going to be. The entire movie itself was actually going to focus more on Dopey and Grumpy. So they're all going to be living in this village all together, I guess like the Smiths or something. And then some accidents occur, and then they go on like this journey. And then like obviously there's going to be like twists and the Evil Queen and all of this stuff, and something like about a wizard, something like that. But obviously you can see here it was all going to be in 3D, and you can find this little extract anyway on the internet if you did want to watch it with sound.
Nobody needs that. I'm glad that was scrapped, okay? And then next, my third one that I'm glad was cancelled, The Yellow Submarine. So obviously this is based off of that Beatles thing, The Yellow Submarine, and they would have battled the evil villains called Blue Meanies. So Disney would have actually made this using motion capture. I'm glad that they didn't, personally. Apparently they stopped doing this after the flop of Ours Needs More Mums. I've never seen that. I don't think I ever want to. I'm glad Disney didn't make a Yellow Submarine film for the Beatles. It's just... Scrapping Yellow Submarine was a very good idea. Now let me tell you now what I actually want to see within an upcoming Disney movie. I want them to take a classic fairy tale, such as like Princess and the Pea or something like that. And I want there to be a gay prince who's basically going to be closeted, but we don't know he's gay until a little bit later on. I want the queen to be like the stereotypical villain, and then I want the princess to arrive and we don't know that she's a princess with all these magical powers and cuteness. Yeah, she's going to be then revealed as a princess because of the pea. Maybe she has pea growing qualities, maybe, I don't know. And then it turns out that she's actually the villain. I think that would be a really cool twist to have a princess villain, but I want her to be really cool. I want her to be relatable. I want her to have that Anna vibe, you know, like she's a bit clumsy, she's a bit like, oh my god, I can totally see myself on the screen right now. I want something like that, and I want there to be a big old twist. I want the queen, the person that we thought was a villain because they have like the stereotypical design of a villain, I want her to actually be revealed as like the hero, and I want her to then accept her, you know, gay prince or something like that. I want like boundaries to be smashed. I want there to be a lot of fun within this movie, and I want another decent musical. I want this to be like a Disney Renaissance musical. I want the animation of the 2D animation to come back. That won't ever come back, but I want it to come back. And that's what I want the future of Disney to be. I want it to be, I want that movie to exist. I want that movie to exist. What do you want to see from Disney films? Do you have a specific Disney movie that you actually want to exist? Is there any of the Disney movies that were cancelled that you were like, oh no, I'm so sad now? Or are you quite happy that certain ones were cancelled? I mean, I would be quite happy if they just cancelled all of the Disney live action remakes, because we've got a lot of those coming up soon. We've got all of this to enjoy. So yes. Stop! I want original content, Disney. I hope that you have enjoyed this little video. I hope that you have enjoyed my new background. If you want to see the making of this background, then please feel free to click this up here. I hope you have learned something today, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye!